Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Two exhausted children stand on a granite mesa in Arizona's most dangerous desert. Below them, in crystal-clear water, lies what appears to be a stream bed literally paved with gold nuggets. The sight is so incredible that they must descend to touch the treasure with their own hands. This moment would haunt generations of treasure hunters and create one of the Southwest's most enduring mysteries. How did these two orphaned children, a young Mexican girl and a Papago Indian boy, discover what may have been the richest gold deposit in Arizona history? And why, despite numerous expeditions, has this legendary treasure never been found again? This is the story of the Lost Orphans Mine, authenticated by one of Arizona's most respected mining authorities and preserved in Tucson's Pioneers Historical Society. It begins with tragedy, unfolds through incredible hardship, and ends with a mystery that continues to tantalize treasure hunters today. Our story begins in the Mexican town of Caborca, Sonora, when a devastating cholera epidemic swept through the region. Disease was merciless on the frontier, but cholera was particularly vicious, striking quickly and leaving devastation in its wake. Families were torn apart overnight, children orphaned by the dozens, and entire communities collapsed under the weight of death. Among the victims were two children who would become unlikely companions in an epic struggle for survival. A young Mexican girl lost her entire family to the disease. A Papago Indian boy found himself similarly alone. With no relatives to care for them and facing starvation, these children made a desperate decision that would change their lives forever. The boy knew of distant relatives in Gila City, Arizona, a frontier settlement on the Gila River about 24 miles west of Yuma. It was their only hope. The girl, with nothing left to lose, agreed to accompany him on what would prove to be one of the most harrowing desert crossings ever recorded. The route they chose was the notorious Camino del Diablo, the Devil's Highway. This waterless stretch of Sonoran desert had already claimed countless lives. It was so harsh that experienced adults with proper supplies often didn't survive. Yet these two children with minimal resources set out across this hellish terrain driven by nothing more than hope and desperation. For days, they trudged across scorching desert. The sun was merciless during the day, bitter cold at night. Water became scarce, then non-existent. Food ran out. The girl, smaller and less accustomed to harsh conditions, began to weaken dramatically. Her strength failed, her steps became unsteady, and finally she could go no further. The girl collapsed completely. She was dying of dehydration in one of the most remote places on Earth. The boy faced an impossible choice: stay with her and watch them both die, or leave her behind in search of water. With incredible courage, the Papago boy made the only decision that could save them both. He found shade, positioned the girl safely, and promised to return with water. Then he set off alone into the Cabeza Prieta Mountains, racing against time. What happened next was miraculous. In those rugged mountains, the boy discovered a natural rock formation called a tank, a granite depression that collected rainwater. Today, this location is known as Tule Tank. Back then, for two dying children, it represented salvation itself. The boy carried water back to his companion, literally saving her life. They made their way to the tank, where the girl slowly recovered her strength. It was here, at this life-saving water source, that their incredible adventure took an even more extraordinary turn. When the girl was strong enough to travel, the boy decided to show her something he had discovered. He led her up a steep arroyo, climbing higher into granite formations until they reached the top of a mesa overlooking a draw on the opposite side. "Look down," he told her. What they saw defied belief. In the clear water of a small stream below, the entire stream bed appeared covered with gold nuggets. Not scattered pieces, but so many that the stream looked deliberately paved with gold. The nuggets were clearly visible through crystal-clear water, gleaming in desert sunlight like something from a fairy tale. The children carefully picked their way down to the water's edge. The gold was real, solid, heavy nuggets they could hold in their hands. The girl gathered as many as she could carry and tied them in her rebozo, her traditional Mexican shawl. Then, with their incredible secret hidden, they continued their journey. The remainder of their journey proceeded without major incident. The orphans were welcomed by the boys' relatives in Hila City's Papago community. They had survived one of North America's most dangerous desert crossings and discovered what might have been the region's richest gold deposit. As the girl integrated into frontier life, she kept her golden secret closely guarded. One day she showed some nuggets to a local man named George Whistler. Naturally, Whistler was intensely curious about where such magnificent gold had come from, but the girl refused to reveal the location. Despite her secrecy, Whistler found himself drawn to her. Their relationship developed slowly. He continued asking about the gold. She continued refusing to tell him. Eventually, they married and had 2 or 3 sons. Throughout their entire marriage, she maintained silence about the Golden Stream's location. The family moved to Burke Station, where tragedy struck again. George Whistler was murdered by a Mexican man named Nunes. The killer immediately fled, but frontier justice was swift. A party of Mexican men tracked Nunes into the dangerous Cabeza Prieta Mountains, the same region where the Golden Stream had been discovered. After a difficult chase, they captured the killer and transported him to Agua Caliente, where he was hanged. Whistler's death left his wife widowed with several young sons. It also triggered a profound change in her perspective about her carefully guarded secret. For years, she had suspected Whistler married her primarily to learn her gold's location. This suspicion had kept her silent. But now, with her husband dead, she realized how wrong she'd been. Whistler had truly loved her, and she had withheld her trust unfairly. Overwhelmed by guilt and concern for her son's future, she decided to break her decades-long silence. She chose to confide in Thomas Childs, who would later develop the enormous Ajo copper mine and was widely respected as one of the region's most reliable authorities. She told Childs the complete story: the epidemic, the desert crossing, the discovery at Tule Tank, and, most importantly, the Golden Stream's exact location. She asked only that he find the treasure and share a portion with her sons. Thomas Childs, true to his reputation for reliability, organized a proper expedition. He had detailed directions from someone who'd actually been there. He had extensive mining experience and regional knowledge. He had resources to mount a thorough search. Everything pointed to success. But when Childs and his team arrived at the described location, they found nothing. No golden stream, no nugget-paved stream bed, no trace of the incredible wealth 2 children had discovered. Childs searched systematically and thoroughly, but the treasure had seemingly vanished without a trace. Other searchers followed, convinced they could succeed where Childs had failed. All returned empty-handed. The Golden Stream had disappeared as completely as if it had never existed. What happened to the Lost Orphans Mine? Several theories attempt to explain how such a dramatic discovery could vanish from the landscape. The most accepted explanation involves geological changes. The Southwest is seismically active. Earthquakes could have buried the stream with debris. Alternatively, the region experiences violent flash floods that can dramatically alter drainage patterns. A single massive cloudburst could have changed the stream's course entirely, redirecting the water and gold to a completely different location. Others suggest time allowed vegetation to obscure the site, or that subsequent prospectors quietly removed the gold. Some theorize that the original description, passed through memory over many years, contained subtle inaccuracies making relocation impossible. The story was documented in 1946 by Thomas Childs, Jr., son of the man who searched for the treasure. His letter, preserved in Tucson's Pioneers Historical Society, remains our primary source. Childs, Jr. knew the original participants personally and had every reason to present the story accurately. Today, the Cabeza Prieta Mountains remain as dangerous as when two desperate children crossed them over a century ago. The area is now protected wilderness, making treasure hunting difficult and potentially illegal. But the story persists, passed down through Arizona folklore and continuing to inspire those who dream of discovering lost treasure. If you would like to see a lost gold story by where I grew up, click on the link in the description. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image, and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest Gold story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.